Right, I don't understand how he thought it was role play when the images were not of an adult.
Apparently, what he discloses to me is that he's had relationships with adult women that pretend to be younger.
Judgment sprung, in and out, the verdict swung. Uchi car watch, we've just begun. Uchi car watch, we're on the scene. Truths unraveling, what does it mean?
Alberto Hernandez. If you come forward. All right, where are we on this case? Discovery. Where are we on discovery?
I believe discovery is complete, Your Honor. Danielle Cranberg. Cranberg, Cranberg.
Oh, and we're not on the record. Okay. All right. So all discovery is complete. Has an offer been tendered?
Yes, Judge, we just received one today.
All right, how old are you, sir?
52 months.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, you can reset this for 3 weeks for a plea deadline date?
Yes, sir. On July 18th.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Once you sign the reset form, you're excused.
So July 18th then?
Yes. All right. Who is on Alberto Hernandez? All right. Deputy Laura, can you have them move to the other end?
A little more closer, and when you speak, make sure you speak loudly and don't say, don't nod your head, make sure you say yes, no.
Yes, sir.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 4387, State of Texas versus Alberto Navidad Hernandez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
The honor for the state.
defense?
The attorney of record is Monica Guerrero. Joseph Stateson standing in to cover. And Mr. Hernandez, will you give this court permission for me to do this in place of Ms. Guerrero?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you're Mr. Alberto Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and that you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Hernandez, did you review what's entitled application of community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, ma'am.
Both counts?
Yes,
Did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. All right. Did you understand in each count you're charged with online solicitation of a minor as a third-degree felony?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment in each count is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hernandez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication, and the state is opposing your application. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Can you repeat it one more time, Your Honor? There was some clarification Mr. States and I were talking about earlier.
All right. It says punishment to be assessed at 8 years. There's a $2,000 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication, and the state is opposed to the community supervision.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motion?
No, Your Honor.
Then to count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest. 5.
To count two, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no
No
contest?
contest.
State any evidence to support the plea?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection, Your Honor. My client's asking a question. Can I
Yes.
step back just a moment?
Sure.
We should be fine. We'll get the signs.
All right. Did you review the document entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports?
Yes.
But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, so my question. With regards to count 1, maybe I'm missing it in the documents. I see evidence of count 2. And so I'm just trying to find the evidence in there of count 1.
And Your Honor, may I put something on the record at this time?
Yes.
I had explained to Mr. Hernandez, Chapter 62, sex registration,
Mhm.
and how online solicitation of a minor in Chapter 62 is a reportable conviction.
Yes.
It requires registration. Although the plea bargain page does not indicate that, it's an operation of law that would be
Yes.
effective. So I just wanted to let the court know, we did discuss this. I did admonish Mr. Hernandez, and I explained that he would have to register. That's part of the plea, even though it's not actually on the plea bargain page.
Bless you.
Oh, thank
God
you.
bless you.
Mr. Hernandez? I haven't mentioned the chapter 62 registration because I have to see the evidence first. And so once I see the evidence, if I find that it is sufficient to find you guilty, then you will be required to register. Okay.
May I step back a moment with the prosecutor also?
Sure.
Regarding the
And it's regarding the statement that is in count 1.
statement count.
You can have a seat if you would like while they search for that information. All right, are you all ready on Alberto Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor.
So were you all able to find what I could not find?
States amended, States Exhibit 1 and has presented it to Defense Counsel for objection.
I reviewed the additional, believe it's 3 pages. It would substantiate the count 1, the evidence. It is what it is. I know that there's text and a graphic picture. It is part of the offense.
Mhm.
That is the stipulations, and we don't object to the stipulations.
All right, I'm assuming it's amended where the green tab is that correct?
It's the final 3 pages, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't need the last picture, but okay. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty of count 1 and guilty of count 2. And we will come back on September 12th. At that time, the court will make a decision on your application for community supervision. That will be based upon any evidence that is presented to me and also the PSI report. Is there going to need to be a TAP evaluation as well or no?
At your discretion, Your Honor, I don't believe substances were involved in this offense, but if any additional evaluation could be helpful.
All right, we'll do a PSI and TAP evaluation. All right, once you speak with probation and sign the reset form, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're welcome. All right, I'm sorry, what's your client's name?
Alberto Natividad Hernandez.
All right, she's asking for a continuance because he has surgery.
This paperwork she showed me doesn't have his name.
It has his signature on the back, Judge. It doesn't have it on the front, but it does have his signature on the back. Okay, just.
And what is the treatment for?
If you can ask him, Judge, he told me it's something with his back, but I don't want to elaborate.
I got in an accident and I got a pork disc damages and 2 vegetables.
2 vertebrae.
All right, do we need, do you have any objection to the continuance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, do we need an interpreter for him?
No, ma'am.
He speaks English.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go on the record in 2024 CR 4387, State of Texas versus Alberto Hernandez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state defense?
Monica Guerrero for Mr. Hernandez.
And are you Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea on July 18th to count 1 of no contest, count 2 of no contest. You applied for community supervision. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty in each count, and the court found you guilty in count 1 and count 2. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
I have not, Your Honor.
All right, defense?
I have.
Yes.
Defense, do you have any objection to the PSI report?
I do not, so long as you have the supplemental in the back showing the correction for the ag robbery and with the ag assault and the robbery. The robbery was reduced to a misdemeanor and the aggravated assault was dismissed.
Yes.
So he doesn't have those felonies in the calculation for felonies and misdemeanors.
All right. All right. State, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any witnesses?
I do not, Judge.
All right, then the court will hear argument. State, you are, according to the plea bargain agreement, you're asking that punishment be assessed at 8 years in the prison, and you're opposing his application for community supervision.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
Briefly, Your Honor, very brief, you've read the stipulations, you know the facts of the case, and you've seen the PSI. I draw attention to his criminal history, specifically the transporting and moving aliens, knowing said aliens can enter or remain in the United States contrary to law, all done for the purpose of commercial gain, advantage, and private financial gain. in the United States District Court of Western Texas.
All right, defense.
And Judge, I'm gonna call your attention to look at, if you look at his criminal history, although it sounds like it's a lot, it really, it's not that much. And that case from the feds was in 2006, which was his last time of really being in trouble. We're now in 2024, it's 18 years later. If you read the PSI, you can see, well, he accepts responsibility, but he's telling me that it was not, as it appears, he was not coming down to San Antonio, that he was in fact having communication, but he felt he was role-playing with an adult. I'm asking the court to consider giving him probation as opposed to sending him to prison and giving him the maximum probation so that this court will have plenty of time to ensure that he receives treatment and that he complies with everything, because I've told him that in this court, it is dangerous for him to get probation because you will give him a chance and you will give him an opportunity, but if he messes up, he will have to pay. So I want the court to be able to have that leash over him, so to speak, so that he can comply with any regulations and treatment that the court would deem necessary in this type of case.
All right, I don't understand how he thought it was role play when the images were not of an adult.
Apparently, what he discloses to me is that he's had relationships with adult women that pretend to be younger and send images like that, but that are actually older than him or his age.
All right, so I don't have any legal proof of that. I don't have any text messages that show that. Okay. All right, is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right, then, the court is gonna not deny your application. Court will find you, as previously stated, the court found you guilty of count 1 and count 2. In count 1, the court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison. This will run concurrent with count 2, and the court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney?
This one that he's.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yeah.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. And counsel, I did have the supplemental.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Watch, we're on the scene. Truths unravel, and what does it mean? In the halls where stories clash, Uchi Court watch quick as a flash.